Hello, and welcome back to Zalora Talks with me, your host, Amy Yasmine. We thought we'd bring back an episode which really struck a chord among many of our listeners, and that is sustainability. Now, this is a topic that's been getting quite a lot of traction lately, especially coming out of lockdown, which has made us all think about not only the way we live our lives, but how we consume. And if you're anything like me, I used to shop mindlessly in the past and not give two toots about its negative impact. But now I want to say I'm kind of a changed person. This time around, I look at fabrics, ethical background, how it's made and produced. These days, I've even been thinking a lot about composting and saving food scraps to use in recipes. So I guess you can call it good timing when I say we've got two really cool guests, and each of them championing sustainability and zero waste from a fashion and lifestyle perspective. Now, on one hand, we have a beauty queen turned eco-activist with her very own zero-waste online marketplace. And on the other, we have H&M Southeast Asia sustainability manager, who, in my books, I think, she's more of like a guardian angel and a watchdog over, the brand's environmental efforts. So please join me in welcoming Priyaa Simmi and Marian Dang.
Hey, thank you so much for having us.
Hi.
Now, let's start with you first, Priyaa. I think this is one of the info that really got my attention. You've gone from being crowned Mrs. World Malaysia 2009-2020, to being an eco-activist with your own e-marketplace, ecoqueen.co. Now, tell us more about this transition and your relationship with the environment, because I'm assuming that, this isn't, something that's just come out of a complete epiphany. It's something that you've probably had in quite some time.
I think for sure. I was very new to this. I'm still very new, a beginner, learning every day on sustainability. But I think after participating in a plastic-free July campaign, I feel that it was just about single-use plastic, but it kind of changed everything over. And when I participated in it, because I've seen, waste everywhere, and I feel that I should do something about it. So it's going to give me a more impact, and my platform, of course, pageantry, gave me the platform to actually inspire more people, take this into next step on not just inspiring audience on Instagram, but also on my business, switching brands to go more conscious. That's how it started. And I think it keep going and practicing and making me feel that I should learn more and read more and teach more about sustainable lifestyle.
Fantastic. I guess the same could be said for you, Marian. So how did your journey with H&M begin, especially in the sustainability department, no less? So what exactly does that job entail?
Yeah, so we all know that the impact of fashion on the environment and the planet. So it is super important that we move towards a more sustainable fashion future. And with my role, I'm focusing on Southeast Asia and to see how we can actually drive sustainable fashion in this part of the world, in this part of the region. There's so many potential and also quite some challenges in order to really drive this behavioral change and the mindset of the customers, of individuals and companies. So it's a very urgent but exciting and a very potential journey, I would say.
That's actually quite a lot of talk about H&M being unsustainable online and in the papers as well. And it's widely assumed so because of its core operation as a fast fashion label. Now, tell us how the lines between the two are blurred.
I think in general, so again, we know the impact of fashion on the environment and the planet. And it is true that fashion is one of the most polluting industries out there. So the way how fashion is produced and consumed at this moment is not sustainable. That's why actually we need to change and transform the whole fashion industry. And knowing this with H&M, so we have our size, and that's why we have the vision to really lead the change towards circular circular and climate positive fashion, while at the same time having a positive contribution to the society in general. So it is all about changing this whole system and see what we can do. There are so many ways that we need to look into, including the whole supply chain. But also it means that we need to be more demand driven instead of supply driven, by using, for instance, data and artificial intelligence to be able to predict demand better. But secondly, we also need to make sure that what we produce happens in a full circular way. So, for instance, circular products, circular supply chains, and circular customer journeys. And lastly, also we need to include other business models and see how we can meet customers in different ways. So instead of buying, what are the options for rental? What are the options for repairing or reselling, rewear, or swapping, and so on and so on.
Actually, it's interesting that you mentioned the word circular. And I think a lot of people are still kind of like unaware of what circular systems or the model is. Tell us what the differences are, because I know there's two, circular and linear.
Basically, a linear economy is that the resources are connected to the growth. So meaning that the more you use, the more you grow, the more resources you need. That is like a linear approach. However, we need to decouple resources from growth, meaning that how can we optimize the resources and minimize waste? So instead of taking resources, using it and throwing it away, how can we take the resources, use it, reuse it over and over again, keep everything in the system so that nothing goes to waste. So everything will be kept into the loop so that we actually minimize waste as much as possible. And then in fashion, again, if you think about this circle, it all starts from the design phase up into the raw materials, up into the production, up into the transportation, operations, customer use, all the way until the end when the garments are not being used anymore, how to keep it again in the system by reusing or recycling. That's kind of a brief explanation of a circular model.
Yeah, I'm thinking more of like join the dots. Now, Priya, I'm pretty sure you're certainly familiar with the circular system and the business model and so on. Now, tell us how you incorporate zero waste items into the whole mix and everything behind it all.
I think it's a great conversation with Marian and Amy today, because I'm also learning a lot today. That's really good. For me, right, I feel that in my business as well, we really make sure that I know sustainable fashion and zero waste, eco-friendly. These are the words that are coming into trend right now, and everyone think it's so cool to use those words. And also, that is like as a consumer, I would speak from a consumer perspective. As a consumer, we are quite unaware on like what exactly eco-friendly. How is it helping the climate change? At the same time, greenwashing. Those kind of things. Kind of like as a consumer, we are really confused. That's probably one of the reasons why I decided to come up with this platform called Eco Queen, right? So I want to make sure in Eco Queen, we are having local brands, support local brands, of course. At the same time, we want to do due diligence in our brands, making sure that they are eco-friendly packaging, making sure they are, if they call themselves vegan, do they have all the certificate, natural, organic? Make sure we do our due diligence and we give the 100% or at least 99%, confident to our conscious users to come and buy from us. At the same time, we also like to give our impact, cycled on our website to make sure that each users buy something from us, they can see how much they have contributed to the environment. And of course, that's how we are seeing and how we, as a consumer, how I can help.
I think it's interesting that you brought up the word as a consumer and this whole talk about like consumption, because the other day I was actually on Instagram, I was just browsing, and then I stumbled upon this one post that actually says that if you're in the business of consumption, you can never be sustainable. Now, what do you guys both think about this statement? Because it's quite a bold one. It's also kind of like it's ironic in the same time. How do you guys reconcile with this?
basically what it then says that we cannot consume at all, right? That is also a question, how realistic is that in the current world that we're in? I think it's very important that if we consume, that we are making informed decisions and that we are really aware of what we are consuming and what the sources are. So as a consumer, for instance, and like what Priya is also mentioning, we are learning every day and all the time, and there's still so much to learn when it comes to conscious consumption or sustainable consumption. But the first thing is being aware and being informed of what we are actually buying and what is the materials in, for instance, garments that we are wearing, where does it come from, and also see what are the other options over there. Are there more options that are a bit more environmentally friendly? But also, if we consume, can we prolong the lifespan of the products? For instance, the clothes, can we use it as long as possible so that we don't need to keep buying or that we don't need to throw it away? So I think consumption is more about being conscious and being really aware so that you can make more informed choices. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I totally agree with Marian. For me, I would say that I am always been someone who enjoyed dressing fashionably, but I don't think I have, chosen sustainable fashion before I started my conscious journey, because you're not aware of what's actually happening, how much you're contributing to the environment. But, now I'm started learning, reading, watching documentary. I've begun to adapt to a sustainable fashion practice. But for me, zero waste context in fashion will definitely be looking trendy and style while making ethical, sustainable choices, right? So for me, I would definitely say that my practice, make sure you're not really 100% sure, but reading labels for sure, and making sure that you're focusing on eco-friendly production method inspired by the concept of circular economy, which saves energy and minimize waste. So for me, like Marian say, I started my journey by buy smart, buy less, and shop secondhand. I swap clothes with my celebrity friends, personalities. We swap clothes, and sometimes if I want to go for an event, you need to buy a new item. So what I do, I rent or get sponsored items so I can give it back to them. I'm not buying it and not using it in my wardrobe, right? And if you have an outfit already and it's broken, you don't have to throw it away, but repair it. So I've got my own tailor shop as well. So all my outfits are upcycled back. My old saris are converted back into a fashion outfit. When something
so cool.
broken here and there, I recycle. Yeah, I repair my outfit and buy from ethical brands. Now I'm in a stage, if I want to buy new products, I'm trying to look and read more about ethical brands. And for sure, H&M, there's more fashionable outfit. I'm always going there and checking out, like reading labels and making sure how I can make more conscious choices and look fashionable at the same time.
Really interesting, Priya, that you mentioned all these options, because it is also about how to make sustainable fashion a bit more fun, right? How to engage everyone a little bit more and be a bit more creative. Because I think what we sometimes forget is that fashion, it is really a way for everyone to express themselves and to be creative, and also to make a stand sometimes with what you wear and how you wear things. So there's also this good points about fashion, and how can we make it even more fun by making it also sustainable and making conscious choices while shopping, for instance, or exploring the other options like repairing or rental or secondhand. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this goes into the whole, concept of innovation. And you guys actually come up with some like really mind-boggling stuff. Yeah, like mushroom leather. But, at the end of the day, it really is down to, if it wasn't for consumption, you wouldn't have innovation. It's what spurs the other. So, tell us more about how H&M was even able to produce pieces that aren't just safer for the environment, but also pushing the boundaries of these new technology, from mushroom leather to even coffee shirts. How does that work?
Yeah, so this is another example of what we talked about earlier, that we keep on learning, right? So everyone, we keep on learning, we keep on innovating, developing. So it's quite interesting to see because with H&M, so we've been working with sustainability already for 20 years. And if you see along the line, the developments over the years, it's quite impressive. So for instance, whether in 2004 we started to use the first pieces with organic cotton in our assortment, but now since 2020, all of our cotton in our stores is from organic or sourced in a more sustainable way. And then with the developments, it's then not only the more common sustainable materials, but indeed the innovations, like you say, it goes further. Now we can even make leather out of agriculture waste, for instance, leather out of wine waste or leather out of pineapple waste. We even have indeed a conscious exclusive collection last year where we had the dye from coffee waste. So this beige color, it came literally from coffee dye from our office in Shanghai. And one thing I found also very impressive is this year we launched also a polyester-alike fabric, which is made out of air. So that is even more, I cannot even describe the technology, how it works, but literally is that the emissions are being captured from the air and turned into kind of tablets and then in turn turned into a fiber, which is polyester alike. So this just shows how far we can get with technology and innovations. But it also shows, of course, that we need to collaborate with all the experts, with all the academics, with everyone who have these brilliant ideas and technologies. And very exciting to see where else we can go if we've seen the developments already over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest takeaway from that for me as well is the amount of coffee that's being consumed by China. Like, surely you're definitely going to need a lot of like coffee grounds to just like be able to produce that much. And also the amount of pollution. It just goes to show the amount of pollution that, we have currently that's happening in the air. You can capture and turn them into something else. I find that really interesting. Now, from your perspective, Priya, from your store, how do you also innovate and push the boundaries of what's currently available, and then also at the same time trying to change the mindset of Southeast Asians, I guess, because sustainability is not something that's and it's an old concept, but at the same time, I don't think a lot of people are still warming up to it yet.
I will definitely agree with what you said, Emmy. I think it was really difficult for me for a start. That's the only reason why I started Eco Queen, because when I saw the difference, what's actually happening, how much we're contributing to the environment, and whether can we preserve the environment for our coming generations or not, right? So that was my thought at first. And then when I started posting out, I realized when you post out something more fun, I am more on fashion and dance and all of that, you get a better reach and better engagement from people. But when you speak about sustainability, I don't see much response. And it was shocking for me as well. I'm like, okay, so probably everyone's like me. I'm also new to this. I'm learning. And that's the reason why I started Eco Queen by just creating blogs and awareness blogs just to help people what is zero waste. Something really simple because we're still not aware of it. So our company, Eco Queen, we have a blog page. Certain stories about what is zero waste, and then slowly how you can practice zero waste lifestyle. What is vegan? What is sustainable fashion? Just for them to know what is this, and that's how we started. But now, of course, getting ethical brands on board, making sure that they practice the same thing. Sometimes, yes, all brands, like Marian said, we're all learning. We're not perfect, to contribute to the environment. So we're all still learning, and we make sure that it's friendly and more helping each other. So one of the brand, they say they are trying to practice zero waste and all of that, but their packaging, they can't help it, it's still plastic. So it's about us. We as Eco Queen in our management system, we want to educate the brands how they can go more sustainable. If it's not plastic or if their outfit is packaging, so we will help you to go on biodegradable packaging or box packaging, those kind of stuff. That's how we are starting to help other brands.
That's amazing. It's really good effort. I really commend you on that.
Thank you. I mean, it's a consumer perspective, right? I am a consumer and I've been struggling and learning.
I wanted to emphasize what Priya was also saying, that learning from each other and collaborating, because I think that's sometimes a bit underestimated, the importance of collaborations. And I think especially when it comes to fashion, it is a big challenge, because we also know that fashion is one of the most complex and disaggregated industries out there. And there are so many stakeholders involved, directly or indirectly. Just with fashion, I mean, with H&M, we are a big company, but still we only have 2% of the total market share in fashion. So that means that we need like all the 98% others to join in and to really collectively transform fashion altogether. Whether it's other brands, whether it's academics, experts, business leaders, NGOs, individuals, us consumers. So it's so important to collectively collaborate and all do our part. And completely agree, also in Southeast Asia, there's much more potential to really raise the awareness and get the interest from the individuals to take action.
Yeah. Do you think we're slowly starting to get there, or, I mean, because I know in the global north, for example, they're a lot more aware, and they probably have far more better resources to adopt not just a zero waste lifestyle, but also in a very sustainable lifestyle. But from your professional perspective and from your experience, do you think we're halfway there, or 3/4 way there, 98, 99% there? What are your thoughts?
I think there's a good trend that the awareness is going up. However, I still think there's quite some work to do. It's a little bit about changing the mindset again and find what is really interesting the consumers here. So, for example, maybe a bit of a personal story, but so I grew up in the Netherlands, where they already had recycling systems when I was a little kid. But my parents are Vietnamese, so my mom, she is very still in the Vietnamese mindset, coming from the war, thinking about surviving today and tomorrow, and not really about long-term future generations over decades, for instance. So that sustainability mindset has not been in my Vietnamese kind of upbringing, but in the Dutch culture, it was very much already present there. So that's a little bit how I see it here also in Southeast Asia, that there's maybe not so much a thinking of what happens in 10 years, 20 years, more about what is happening at this current moment. And with that mindset, it's sometimes a bit difficult as well to act more consciously. And then again, it's about finding what does interest the consumers here in order to take action, by making sustainable fashion a little bit more fun, or finding creative ways to really engage everyone to take action. I think there is a good trend that the awareness is going up, but much more is needed.
What about you, Priya? What are your thoughts on that? Because the both of us are Malaysians, and you know how we love our like nasi
Yeah.
bungkus and everything. You know what I mean?
What I'm really, impressed is that there are changes, Amy. Now we are working together with students, and that's what I see difference. Of course, it takes time and require consistency, right, from both government and the people. So, we just need to keep playing our role to create a world, a better place where there's no waste, right? But what I realize is now I like how the government initiative in making sure there's a lot of organization working towards that. At the same time, I am working together with so many students from multiple universities. So universities already, education is important. We are already starting to educate students from university, school students, kindergarten school students, the importance of this. And, they're already working towards this. We've done a lot of campaigns together about planting tree, sustainable fashion, how to reuse items. So I see it's coming. We are making a progress, and I'm really happy that we are getting there for sure.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. But also at the same time, because when you talk about education and awareness, right? A lot of it, I think there's a sense of confusion. There's so much confusion in this entire dialogue of sustainability. And, like you mentioned earlier on in this conversation, greenwashing, often comes to mind. And Marian, I'm sure you're very well aware of this, but the fact is, H&M actually achieved one of the highest scores on the Fashion Transparency Index, and I think that's quite a remarkable feat, given the fact that there's so much of these like confusion and everything happening. So tell us how transparency also comes into the mix of educating, everyone else.
No, this is a very important topic because, first of all, greenwashing. What is greenwashing, right? So, greenwashing is when there are misleading, untrue, or unverified information shared that portrays an organization as more environmentally responsible than it actually is. So, if we know that the answer to greenwashing is being fully transparent throughout the whole supply chain, providing accurate, correct information throughout the whole fashion industry and throughout the chain. A few examples is actually what Priya also mentioned earlier is by making use of third-party certification schemes. So, for example, if we have claims about our products sustainability information, we're using third-party certification schemes to make sure that the sourcing is happening in a more sustainable and in an integrity way. A few certifications are, for instance, the Global Recycled Standard or the Recycled Claim Standard. But not only that, it's also about being transparent in what happens in the supply chain. So a few examples that H&M was one of the first brands in 2013 to share its list of suppliers online, where you could see all the factories and the suppliers that H&M is working with. And it went a bit further in 2019. What you could see with our products online is that when you click on a product, you could see where that product or where that item has been produced, in what factory, how many workers there are in the factory, and what are the average wages. And but again, we are not there yet. We still need to improve. And this year, earlier in May, we launched the Hick Index Sustainability Profiles, where you could see the environmental performance score of a certain product for a selected range of products online. So again, if you then click on that product, you could see how that material is actually performing when it comes to water pollution, global warming, fossil fuels, and so on. So all these things help to be a bit more transparent throughout the journey and throughout the supply chain. We need to keep improving, and being ranked as one of the top in the fashion transparency index is super good, of course, but that does not mean that we're there. Transparency is needed in order to achieve sustainable fashion, but it should not be the end goal, of course.
No. I just think that's amazing. Like Marian said, that's what we are looking for. Big brands and known brands and fashionable brands like H&M, when they take this charge and when they make these changes, all the other brands, all the other companies seeing it, they will get inspired and they know the importance of actually being transparent to a consumer like us. Amazing job, Marian. Really keep it up.
Now, going back to trying to find a balance between fashion and a more zero waste, so being more conscious, I guess. And all of us are in fashion, but how do we how do you walk the fine line? Because there's so many. More often than not, whenever I go online, I want to shop something and I want to buy it like now. But it's easy to just forget about what's it made from. Who's making them, whether, in the cycle and in the wash, it's going to be releasing any microplastics. But that's something that I learned from Seaspiracy and everything and all that. So shout out to Netflix for that.
Yeah.
But how do you guys reconcile these two things together?
Okay. So for me, I would say, it is something that we have to balance it up, right? We are coming back to the same topic about we are not perfect. Nobody is perfect, but sometimes we are scared to get this. Like I was quite afraid to bring this up on social media because you are a public figure. People are watching you. Young people are watching you. Organizations are watching you. And you're always afraid that people will definitely find fault in you. You cannot be completely perfect, right? So it's about learning. Like, for example, I am a person who loves balloon decorations during birthday parties. And my posts were always about that every year. And now you come to realization that you can't be using balloons, and it's all this kind of new stuff that we are learning. So we want to be like equal and trying to learn and progress. It's okay if you're not perfect. No one is. So how I became like more, began this journey, of course, with like, for zero waste, I would say zero waste starter kit. And everyone is going on, okay, zero waste starter kit. I started with reusable utensils, flask and all of that. But what we don't realize is you don't have to purchase a new reusable items if you already have something with you. Like, you reuse the old bottles you have, kitchenwares at home, and if you feel like you don't have anything at all, then you can purchase a starter kit at affordable price and put in your bag and bring it everywhere. So that's how I feel that I balance it. Again, it's not perfect, but we always learn from mistakes and improve ourselves.
I think here it's again coming back to how can we make it a little bit more engaging and fun for everyone. So, for instance, again, if we want to prolong the lifespan of the garments, because that is more sustainable, right? That you actually buy an item and then you make use of it, or you rent it, or you get it secondhand, but making use of it as long as possible, and that it doesn't become waste. So, how can you make it fun in the journey of using it as long as possible? Again, by upcycling it, or by repairing it, or by finding creative ways, I don't know, maybe you can combine it with another outfit. I think it's all about prolonging the lifespan of the garments, but it also includes, for instance, how you wash your clothes. When you're talking about the micro plastics or microfibers that is ending up in the oceans. If you are using a guppy bag where you are putting your clothes in before washing, or if you actually wash it in lower temperatures or wash less, then you can also save your energy bills. So it's more about connecting maybe the sustainability angle with other benefits of making it more fun, but also benefits of saving your energy bill. In that way, you can apply it more onto a daily life.
You know what though? Like, I actually do that, but not by choice, but just by me being lazy. Priya, what you said just now, right, about being like not being perfect, like nobody's perfect. I think that's a really like important message to put out there, because there's so much, like, I don't know why, but there's so much hate. There's just so much like negativity out in the air when it comes to sustainability. And, you have people being put in a corner and like, oh no, but you're not doing this. Oh, but you're doing that. Oh, but this and everything. And you just can't win. And Marian, I'm sure from the H&M perspective, you guys are getting so much heat from so many different corners, but I guess at the same time as well, it's a double-edged sword. Without the heat, you're not going to be able to push forward. Now, how do you maintain that balance and, like taking all that negativity and turn that into something positive?
I think if you are a big company like H&M, of course, you will get also more feedback, right, in that sense, because of the size. But it's also because of the size that we are able to really make an impact and make an influence. So if you are big, you are also able to collaborate, to partner, to positively influence everyone and all the stakeholders in order to drive change. What we should remember is that the whole fashion industry needs to change. The whole fashion industry, the system needs to be transformed, and everyone needs to collaborate. Again, if we talk about how complex the fashion industry is, and H&M only taking up 2% of the market share, it still means that alone we cannot do it. But at least we all need to change this mindset in what can we do, instead of being part of the problem, that we are part of the solution.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's not just like plastic straws and like, polyester jumpers and all that. There's so much more that goes on behind it. But the fact is, and the reality is, that there's so many people, they're just, yep, you're wearing polyester jumper, you're not sustainable. Oh, plastic straws, that's it. I'm done with, like, that's my good deed of the century. I'm good. And they don't see the other things that are actually impacting the environment, or everything else that's happening around them. There's so much beyond that. Now, going into your personal lives now, how do you guys make sustainable choices or small little things that can also be advisable for everyone else that's listening here?
like I say, I'm still consider myself a beginner, right? It's only embarked on this conscious journey like last year. So I make sure that when I go somewhere, I make sure I bring my reusable bottle, my collapsible cup, my metal straws. And more than you practicing yourself, it's important to actually create awareness outside. So for instance, if I go to a restaurant and I ask for a cup of, be Malaysian mama, and the teh tarik comes in, or like Milo ice comes in, and when they give us a plastic straw, I will like to say no, but not just say no, but educate them why I'm saying no. I'm not being rude, but I always tell them, what actually happened if you use plastic straw. So I bring my own metal straw. So that kind of give them, you're creating awareness, not only the people working there, but my friends that I am going out with. And they're getting inspired, and they feel like, okay, Priya did this, I'm going to do that same thing too. And that's how we inspire people, and that's how I started. And again, I'm saying that you don't have to go and purchase a new eco-friendly items, or changing your whole kitchenware, those kind of stuff, or buy only ethical brands suddenly, right? No, it's about what we have, what we already have. Like just now, what you said, Amy. We're already using a outfit, and it could be not ethical brand or ethical production, but you're reusing it again. You're not throwing it away. So reuse what we already have, upcycle what we already have. That's what I've been doing. I will let everyone know to do the same, and then can think of being perfect. For now, let's just do what we can do.
I agree with you, Priya. I think for me, on a personal level, what I try to do is, for instance, if I see something nice in a store, or a nice outfit, or whatever, that I'm thinking by myself, okay, do I really need this one? And I don't buy it immediately, but take a few days. And if I still think about it and I'm absolutely sure that I will wear it over and over again, then I will buy it. So just giving yourself a little bit more time to think about something rather than getting it straight away, that helps sometimes.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I love the fact that you guys are democratizing sustainability. But just to wrap things up on a high note, I want to play a game of this or that with you both. Are you guys down? Would you rather shop local or shop online?
Shop local.
Local.
Would you eat organically or plant-based?
Plant-based.
Plant-based.
Okay, so this is a situational kind of question. You need to save on utilities for a month. Would you rather not have electricity for an entire month or not shower for an entire month?
not shower.
I think that I need to think also about people in my environment. So what is the no electricity for me then?
No electricity.
For me, probably no shower. I cannot be without my devices.
I'm not judging. I want to talk. Anyways, but thank you so much, ladies. It's really such a pleasure to have you both online here today with us at Zalora Talks, and such an eye-opening conversation as well.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me, and it was really nice to hear it also from your perspective. And definitely we keep on learning. So also after this talk, I learned much more. So thank you.
Yeah, likewise, especially from an entrepreneur's perspective, from a retailer's perspective. I learned so much, and I learned that it's a good thing that no one's perfect. I think that's the biggest takeaway from this, and everyone is just learning. That's the key takeaways from this conversation. Now, to everyone listening in, I really hope this episode sparks a new motivation for you guys to be more green and think more consciously towards the environment. So if you're thinking of embarking on this journey or taking even further, head on over to Priya's Instagram page, and that's at Priyaa Simmi with an extra A in the middle, PRIYAA SIMMI. And of course, don't forget to check out the more thoughtful options from her online store at ecoqueen.co. Of course, gotta plug H&M. So, you all know we got H&M available at Zalora, so don't forget to check out those conscious pieces as well. And thanks so much, guys. It's been such a great conversation. Really fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. And until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and chat soon in the next episode of Zalora Talks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.